Hi everyone, Cal Spriggs here. In my previous video, I showed how I got all my smaller Tyranids ready for the new 10th edition Tyranids codex. In this video, I'm going to show you how I got all of my bigger monsters ready for the tabletop.
If you've watched part 1, you've seen I have a lot of Tyranids. Now, a lot of these guys are in various states of disrepair, and in the first video, I reassembled a lot of the smaller models, the Raveners, the Hormigons, the Gene Stealers, and got them painted up to tabletop standard. In this video, I'm going through and doing that with my larger Tyranids, my Carnifexes, my Hive Tyrants, my Trigon Prime, and really I'm just trying to get them all tabletop ready and uniformly painted to one standard. For my Hierophant Bio-Titan Tiny, unfortunately, I'm just not going to have the time. He's, as you can see, a scratch-built, kit-bashed guy, and he needs a lot of work. I built him about 15 years ago, and hopefully I'll have more time in another video to work on him. But for now, I'm going to work on my Carnifexes, my Hive Tyrants, and my Trigon Prime, and try and get them all tabletop ready and looking good so that I can play them and feel good about playing them. For now, I've got a lot of work to do. I got to get a lot of models painted. I got to get a lot of models based. I got to repair a lot of models. So hopefully I'll have time to get it all done. And you get to watch here as I work through it all, getting it all ready for the tabletop. As an amusing aside, I actually had to clean all these guys up to host a Dungeons & Dragons game. So if everything's all in different places from the before and after, that's why. Stay tuned, like and subscribe for more, and here we go. Now, the first model I worked on for my monsters was my Hive Tyrant. Now, this guy I bought secondhand. You can see he's already based and painted. I wasn't really happy with how he was put together. He was magnetized to his torso to his legs, and as you can see, the magnet didn't hold very well, so I just glued that in place. Glued his arms on. I didn't care too much about the weapon options because I have so many of these Hive Tyrants that really it doesn't matter. Then with this winged Hive Tyrant I bought in the same lot, I started painting him my paint scheme. I did this with my other Hive Tyrants as well. And as you can see, I just went along. I used Xandri Dust, I believe, as the base. And I just got all of his flesh color painted the appropriate color for my paint scheme. This was a lengthy process. It took a lot of focus to get all the little areas on his body. These guys had both already had their armor painted black. I can't remember honestly whether I did that or the previous owner had, but I went along with all of these monsters, as you'll see, got them painted, and here's the final work on this winged Hive Tyrant. It looks pretty sharp. So for him, I chose to do something different with his blades. I don't have swords on a lot of my guys, so I went with a bright purple on this. I think it's Luxon purple. It's a contrast paint, and it really makes this guy stand out. I like for each of my monsters to have something that makes them stand out from the others. I also went along, and as you can see here, I picked Warpstone Glow green contrast paint for his wings. It really made them look vibrant and stark against the rest of the army. For some reason, it dried with this shine or gloss to it. I hadn't had that happen before. I'm not sure if the contrast paint reacted with something in the previous paint job or what, but very glossy look to his wings. I like it. It looks kind of membranous, which is fine. So this is my old winged Hive Tyrant. Teddy is what I affectionately named him, and he is a customized winged Hive Tyrant. Now, this was from before Games Workshop had the winged Hive Tyrants. He's actually a pewter Hive Tyrant, one of the old ones, and I found these Balrog wings on the GW store on their individual catalog and ordered these bits from Games Workshop. And I really like the dynamic look it gave him. Now they have, obviously, the plastic kits and everything, but at the time, it was pretty impressive to throw this guy on the table and people to go, oh, you have a winged Hive Tyrant. Holy crap, you know. So this guy, though, I got him painted up, finished painting the Xandri Dust on him, and then I went with a Administratum Gray for his wings, because I'd painted them this really dark purple before, and as you can see now, I got them gray, so I could slap some contrast paint on there, and I was going for that same Warpstone Glow green that kind of looks bright and vibrant against the rest of the kind of tan backdrop. And there's the finished product. It came out looking pretty good, I think, all in all. Teddy is got a lot of chips and bangs and nicks and everything, but I got him brought up to tabletop standard, and I think it looks pretty sharp. Up next is my other winged hive tyrant. I got 3 of these guys. This is Rocky. His buddy Bullwinkle is my Trigon. And with Rocky, I did like the dark green on his wings. I was going to keep that. Really, all I had to do with him was paint the Xandru dust on, which I'd done. And I moved on to Fluffy. Now, Fluffy is my original hive tyrant. This guy is solid pewter. He's a chunky boy. So with him, all I had to do really was update him a bit. I had originally gone with a black and gloss black look, black for the flesh and gloss black for the armor, and I just added some Xandru dust to him, and he was ready to go. These are my Carnifexes. I've named them all for females, so this is Laura. She is ripping a Space Marine in half, as you can see. Up next, we have Lindsay, another one. This one's posed a little weird, a little awkwardly. A previous owner had done that. Next, we have Tori. And we have Betsy, who she's stepping on a Space Marine. It's a little hard to see. And then we have Bullwinkle, Rocky's best friend. And lastly, we have Old One Eye. Now, Old One Eye was previously owned. You can see he's got a little bit of paint slot on already. And I just completed painting his flesh that tan color that I wanted. Painting the exposed bone, a Ushatbi bone color from GW. And making Old One Eye look as fearsome as Old One Eye should look. Now, this was a little bit of detail work. That's kind of why I'm showing it. I also had to go around, and you'll see here, I paint the standard yellow, Uriel yellow on this model, on the edges of the armor and on the claws as well. And I really like how this makes the model kind of pop, because the yellow and black, that contrast, it's like a wasp or a hornet. It really stands out, and it gives it kind of that dangerous look, especially when, as I've said before, I've got an all melee army. They're going to come charging at you, all 100 plus Hormagaunts and the Carnifexes and the winged hive tyrants and the on-foot hive tyrants. So I want that impressive, terrifying feel to them as they come across the table. But yeah, I got this guy, his details done for Old One Eye, got it in line with the rest of my army, and it was really pretty easy to get this done, to get it matching up. You can see my expert cinematography as I block the shot perfectly with his claws as I'm trying to paint. Definitely need to work on that a bit more. Found out at this moment as I was painting it that Old One Eye's head is actually magnetized by the previous owner, which is kind of cool. I thought I'd broken the head off and actually was painting it, and the head moved and realized it was magnetized. Don't really have a need for that. I'm perfectly happy with the head being what it is, but kind of cool. So all the claws and spines and everything, painting those yellow, it can be a little tedious at times. The way I motivated myself was how cool I felt like it looked at the end, So as I go along, this thing goes from a hunk of plastic with some colors on it to something that looks fearsome and terrifying, which is exactly what I was going for, And I just replicated this across the other monsters, painted them with some sepia shade over that Xandru dust flesh, and here's the final product. So my 3 winged hive tyrants, Timmy, Teddy, and Rocky, they are all there to bring friendship in the name of the Tyranids, obviously. They came out pretty good. I really like that bright, vibrant look to their wings, and the purple swords act as a nice accent. Here's Bullwinkle. I put a lot of debris on his base because he's supposed to explode out of the ground. And here's my 5 Carnifexes: Laura, Tori, Old One Eye, Betsy, and there on the end is Lindsay. They all look appropriately fearsome. I don't really like Lindsay's pose, but can't really do much about that. The way that previous owner glued it, I'd have to break it to get it apart. But you can see they're dismembering some Space Marines and having a good old time, ready for the tabletop with the purple fungus stuff growing underneath them, purple creep. And here's the entire army on display. I've got my Hive Tyrants with their Hive Guard. I've got all the Carnifexes, the Trigon, everything all tabletop ready, all ready to go. You can see the weird-looking older Hormagaunts there off to the side. And I'm really impressed with how they all turned out. I managed to get all this done in just a couple days. It was a lot of work, granted, and the great thing about a project like this is it gets me excited and enthusiastic about playing. The new codex is coming out and everyone's saying it's great. So I'm really looking forward to getting these guys on the table. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. I got a lot more content coming out soon.